We used Blogger throughout, so we had a place to record our findings, record what we were doing, what went well, what didn't go well, and we'd use Blogger for AS Media, so we knew how to use it quite easily, and it was quite easy to label posts, upload posts, and just keep track of what we were doing and what we needed to do. And we could keep in contact with our teacher and other classmates by commenting on things that they obviously thought we'd done well, or what they thought we could do to improve some things.
Which helped us when we came to, particularly in like the different drafts, that really helped.
Yeah.
YouTube was a huge help throughout planning and research and construction, as well as evaluation. In research and planning, like every intertextual reference we got
From YouTube.
was something that we found on that site, and it also allowed us to make like more creative presentations of things we were like looking at and trying to work out how we were gonna take something from them to put into our video. And then in construction,
obviously each sort of draft went on YouTube, and obviously YouTube's got comment section, likes and dislikes, so we could see whether our target audience was responding to our drafts positively or not.
And then finally in evaluation, it's been a huge help. We put the video up on YouTube, and from that, and also through social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter,
Tumblr,
Tumblr,
stuff like that.
Through everything, it's been like a main platform for our video, so it's really helped us, and it's so easy to use as well, so it's been great. With Final Cut, which we edited our video on, it was really easy to use.
Yeah, sort of, we learned all the basic skills again in AS, so we were just taking it a bit further.
Yeah, it also allowed us to be a bit more experimental, with
have more creative control.
Yeah, definitely. Particularly with like different effects that we wanted to use and like filters and stuff. You said, we have like a basic knowledge, but it's really been good to experiment with. And we used Photoshop and Fireworks.
Photoshop and Fireworks was something I'd never used before, so obviously first I was like, okay, what's going on here? But then I think it was better that I didn't sort of know what I was doing, because it was just like experimenting what worked well, what didn't work well, what one button does, how to use the eraser tool, text.
Yeah.
It was sort of vital for our digipack.
Yeah, definitely. And particularly as we wanted a particular sort of style, like we wanted this kind of gritty, I would say rustic, but kind of desolate.
So rustic.
Yeah. So we really wanted that, and Photoshop and Fireworks really allowed us to do that and to be creative with it and be a bit more daring with what image we were trying to put across. So we really enjoyed using it.
Prezi was something we used for our evaluation, so if you're watching this then you're on Prezi. We'd used Prezi for some coursework in AS, and I done a lot of GCSEs with it, so I knew what I was doing with it, so I thought it's a good way to have what you want, but a more creative, more interesting thing, like presentation of it.
In the construction of our music video, we used Sony HD cameras, and we'd used them the year before for AS, so we sort of knew what we were doing. and it kind of, knowing what we already did, gave us a lot of confidence that we could get certain angles that we wanted, and we sort of gradually worked our way around knowing how to use the camera.
It was quite a big problem, like, because obviously it was a really big camera, and we sort of had to go and shoot in London in quite cold weather with this big camera, and it was just, we'd never really used the camera on outside locations as much as we did for this video. So obviously learning how to use the camera in different conditions and using the camera effectively with the tripod, that was really...
Yeah, it took some getting used to.
Yeah.
It took a lot of learning.
Throughout the construction, we used phones and Androids to evidence how we were, who was doing what angles we were using, and just keeping evidence that we were actually doing the music video ourselves.
Yeah, and to work out who was doing what, it was a really good way to use like iPhones and Androids, just to keep record really. So it was really useful.
Throughout research and planning, we used the internet using browsers such as Google Chrome and Firefox. We've done this to research other similar bands' campaigns and how successful those campaigns were, why were they successful, how can we take the best parts of their campaigns and apply it to our own campaign.
And to look at the sort of subculture that we were looking at and the size of it, we looked at similar bands like Joe was saying, like All Time Low,
E86,
Room 94, stuff like that. We looked basically at all of their social networking sites, and we looked at their fans and followers, and we decided from there what our subculture, the subculture that we were
was, and how we could appeal to their subculture, because obviously we didn't have the actual band, we had sort of new band.
Yeah, and so from all of that, we worked out who our main target audience was.
For the fonts on the Digipack and on the website, we used a site called The Font, and we used it looking at Thriller stuff. Used it looking at Thriller stuff in AS, so we sort of knew what it was and how we used it, and and we were pretty much on agreement with what kind of font we were looking for. So in the end, it was just trial and error as to which font fitted the campaign best.
Yeah, we wanted kind of like a almost scrawny, like
My Chemical Romance with the Black Parade.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it was a really great site for that. To gain audience feedback, we used a site called SurveyMonkey, and we hadn't actually used it before, so it was a new thing for both of us. But we found it was brilliant. Like it made surveying really, really easy, particularly as we hadn't done anything like it before, not using a site anyway. And it was really easy to use, and we gained really good feedback from it.
Yeah.
It really helped us to gain good feedback.
For the website construction, we used a site called Wix, and no one in our class had used Wix before, so everyone sort of found it difficult. sort of everyone was in the same boat. It was quite difficult, but we persevered and we sort of eventually got the hang of it.
Yeah, like once we'd started, experimenting with it, we realised it actually gave you a lot of choices and a lot of options and ways to do things and ways to present as well, which was something at the start of the campaign we weren't too sure on how we were going to approach the website, but it made it.
Neither of us have any experience making a website before.
But it was actually a great way to discover our own creativity and a great way to realise it and show it through technology.